Hey guys, this week's podcast features Joe Kennedy, the owner of Spar's European Sausage and Meats. Joe came down, talked about his background as a chef, owning a sausage shop in Buffalo, and the state of food in America.
Yeah, it's hard. I think the only reason I've had as many people as I have is because we live right in the city, and it's pretty convenient for a lot of chefs and restaurant owners. But my schedule is the polar opposite of most of most
of course.
Of it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
you
the
work
8
in the
to 5.
daytime, right? Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm I can do it weekday nights or on the weekends, and everyone's like, "No, that's not."
Yeah, yeah, they're all hungover right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been up all night.
yeah. They were.
I remember it well.
They were out after the shift.
Hell yeah.
But I'm glad we've worked this out. You mentioned the Oktoberfest rush going. Is that still currently going on? Is that kind of your? Is that your peak of the year? Right before Oktoberfest?
When I started, it wasn't. When I started out, Christmas and Easter were the biggest weeks of the year.
Yeah.
And but now that we're 7 or 8 years down the line, and my chef background, all my friends found out what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so things started picking up with, restaurants and stuff like that. And so now Oktoberfest is about 6 weeks long because it starts in September, as all good Germans know, and ends on the first Sunday in October. But, here in America, we just think it's all season long.
Yeah.
I literally have to put together a huge party for the 27th of October. I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, people. Get with it. But make hay when the sun's shining.
Yeah, right. You can't argue with the big party turnout.
But it's a really long, busy stretch.
Is it just because the just general popularity is rising, or are you making all new types that you only really make for a limited amount of time?
No, it's just that just like everybody wants to be Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Everybody wants to be German all October long. I'm like, oh my God.
I guess it works out for you.
Yeah, it drives some business, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it also, we're really dedicated to the German products, and there's a good dozen or more. It dominates the store.
Yeah.
That's
what I like about it.
Yeah,
is because there's a lot of stuff in there that you don't really see too many.
There's
other places.
so many great German sausages. And so you're making like I said, a dozen different things.
Yeah,
and boy, they're coming for it. They really are.
Have you noticed in the years that you've owned it, the tastes of people evolving over time, maybe trying newer and exciting things?
I think the thing I noticed most about what's happened since I've been there is that the crowd is getting younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really great.
Nice.
When I started out, working for Eric, it was a lot of blue hair, old school, and a lot of people who've been going there for 30 years.
Oh, or however
24 long. Years.
Okay, yeah.
Our 24th anniversary is coming up.
Oh, nice.
And,
okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of regulars and stuff.
Oh yeah. Once I've got you in the store, you're mine. I like to do what I like to call the sucker punch.
Yeah.
I just hand them something that's really delicious, and the next thing oh my God, I got to have some of that. And they're like, oh, that's really great. And I was like, oh, well, I knew when I handed it to you were going to want some.
That's fantastic. You were, I guess we'll do kind of the background and get to where we are today. Your background is chefing or cook for a long time.
I probably, I've been at food since about 17 years.
Okay.
So I was probably cooking for 9 years or so before I got into this.
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah.
Solid. And then through suggestion of Dino DeBell.
Okay, from Coles.
From Coles, Blue Monk, Liberty Hound.
Yeah. Mike Schatz's guy, pretty much.
Yeah. He said, Joe, this is, Eric's looking for an apprentice, and you might be really into that.
Yeah.
And I was working for Mike A. at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was working at Tsunami.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. I loved the great experience.
Where Torches is now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm working for Mike, and Mike says, why aren't you going to do this? And I said, well, I don't know, Mike. I'm afraid I might get bored. making sausage all day. He goes, Joe, what do we do? And I thought about it because I knew it'd be really simple. And I said, we make food. And he said, yeah. He goes, chopping garlic's boring. Chopping onions boring. But it's what we do. And I thought about it in those dimensions, and I was like, wow. All right, I'm going to give this thing a shot.
Nice.
And I don't think I've been bored a day in 9 years. I mean, there's always new explorations, new avenues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't doubled the number of items in the store, but I have taken over a lot of things that were formerly purchased are all now made in the store.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
How did you first, I guess, get into the food industry? Like, what was your gateway into the kitchen? Was it
my parents?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I've been cooking at home since I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. Back then, Dad would make the meatballs on the kitchen table. He'd make a well of beef and then put everything in the middle and say, "All right, start mixing it and start making meatballs while I start the sauce." And that was Dad's thing on Sunday. Kind of odd for an Irishman, but he was making sauce and meatballs, and it's pretty good.
Nice.
Mom showed me, how to make breakfast and stuff like that, and a couple of her dishes, and so I always loved to cook.
Yeah.
When I moved out of my parents' house, I was the only one of my many roommates who had cooking utensils, so I always cooked for the house.
Yeah.
And after years of rock and roll and driving a truck, I was like, I can't do either one of these things anymore. I got to find something to do. And I started working at the Park Lane.
Oh, okay.
And rose through the ranks.
Nice.
Sat in the top chair.
Was that the restaurant or the catering? Or?
No, the restaurant back when it was on Gates Circle.
Yeah. Were you there when Adam Getz was there or no? Or that must have been probably later.
No, that was after we were already. I'm trying to think. I was probably there from like 98 to 2001.
Okay, yeah. So probably before, he got back. But yeah, that's a.
And then I shuffled around a couple other different places in town, and then found myself working for Mike A at Tsunami, and at that point I thought to myself, okay, this is the last guy I'm going to work for. I'm going to take all the rest of my notes from Mike, and I'm going to open my own restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at how hard he was working, which was 80 or 90 hours a week, and I said, oh, my God, I'm 5 years younger than this guy. I'm not sure I want to go down this avenue. I'm going to take his advice and go try and make some sausage. And my lifestyle has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
Because I work 8 to 5, or, not 8 to 5, but I work more like 6 in the morning till 6 at night, but I get to go home and have dinner with my wife.
Yeah.
We can go out and see shows.
Yeah.
We got weekends off.
It's a whole different lifestyle.
It's a totally different lifestyle. I liken it to a restaurant, honestly, except they don't sit down in our place and eat. But we're constantly, taking care of people, making them happy with food. They come in, a lot of our stuff is, ready to eat. When I get a little time on my hands, I start making complete meals for people, so they can just walk in and grab something and heat it at home. And
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's it's like being a chef.
Yeah,
it's just Well, I don't have people going, I need that salad. It's fuck your salad. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Did you have an idea of in your head, like your ideal restaurant that you were thinking that you were going to open, or did it even get that far? Were you just like,
no? I mean, conceptually, I wanted it to be like, upscale food in a casual atmosphere, and probably, it wouldn't be Pacific Rim or anything like that. It would probably be more Americana, a little French, little Italian,
Yeah.
But I never really took any dive into German food until I got Spars.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, is Spars really just, that was when you got introduced to the whole German?
Oh, it's not like I haven't had some schnitzel or some sausage or anything like that, but I never really pursued cooking any of it.
Okay,
it's great food, man. It really is.
Yeah. Has working in the German, sausage world, like, really opened you up to all the other levels of German cuisine too, or?
Their food isn't. Their food's very home style, and that's really where all my cooking has gone over the years anyway. When I got done with fine dining, I was like, really? Parsley salad, picking little leaves and all this presentation nonsense. It's like, I kind of, these days, I like to eat like Gedra likes to cook.
Yeah.
Gedra Bistro.
Oh, yeah,
it's great food. But it's home style, really, when you get down to it. It's very simple product. Treat it great. Get great product. Treat it nice. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I like to eat. And so that was probably where I was going with the restaurant thing. But like I said, luckily I saved myself all that headache.
So you when you went to Spar's, you apprenticed under Eric Spar, right? Mm-hmm. Who is the current owner. And was the current owner, sorry. And but he opened the shop in like the 80s, right? Like late 80s.
1989.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Like, was it when you started, did you feel like you had a good grasp, or was it one of those things where like he kind of put you through the test to make sure that like you could actually do this?
It was kind of twofold. My first day there, he was like, okay, this is how we put the grinder together. This is how the stuffer goes together. Yeah. Yada, yada, yada. Day 2, I came in. It was first thing in the morning. He was busy. He said, I'll be back in 10 minutes. I got to go up front. And he came back in the room, and I had the machines together. And he was like, how did you do that? And I said, well, you showed me yesterday, so... And he was like, well, that's great. And, it took off right from there. Me and Eric had a very good relationship. And he realized after I'd been there just 3 or 4 weeks, I started in right after Mother's Day of 9 years ago. Yeah. And after a few weeks, he was like, you're doing really good. I think I'm going to book a trip to Oktoberfest and leave you here to do the shop. And I was like, hey, that's a great vote of confidence.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was, having a cooking background. Yeah. I think I was the first guy that ever worked for him that had a cooking background.
Okay, yeah.
So
that probably helped with like knowing just seasoning
food.
And flavoring.
Sure,
and things
he wouldn't
like
tell me what was in anything at first. But I'd just take a look at the spice cups and take a sniff or two and go, I got a pretty good idea what's in here, Yeah. But like I said, after 3 to 4 months of my working there, he was going to Oktoberfest and he was like, okay, kid, here's the Bible. And he gave me the recipe book. Damn. It was funny. He kept making his daughter come in to open the doors at 7 in the morning, which is a couple hours before the store opens up. And I was like, you could give me a key. And he's like, no key. I was like, you're going to give me the recipe book, but no key. All right. It's the first time I was working in a restaurant where I didn't have a key. Where, owners of restaurants don't show up at 9 in the morning.
Exactly,
They're like, open the doors, let yourself in, and get to work.
How long was the whole apprentice period?
Eric and I worked together for about 2.5 years.
Okay, wow, yeah. That's some serious.
The deal got cut around 2 years, and then I kept him as a consultant for a good year or so. Yeah. And then he was like, okay, Joe, I got to stop making sausage and try and enjoy my retirement.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, well, that's great, man. It's been awesome.
That's a pretty nice.
Yeah. It's been a great experience the whole way. I mean, excuse me.
It's right.
I really enjoy it,
Yeah.
And after 9 years, I'm not going to lie to you, days get to be like a grind. But, I still have that opportunity to do whatever I want and pursue whatever flavor I'm looking for. And And my latest thing over the last year or two has been more about developing the deli. Yeah. As opposed to, the sausages, we still come up with new ones and everything. But the state of deli in this country is horrible. It's terrible.
The state of deli in Buffalo is really...
It's bad.
Yeah,
I mean, and so I decided, well, listen, I've got the machinery. I'm going to make my own bologna. Yeah. And let me tell you, there's no nonsense in my bologna. It's made from really great stuff. I mean, the beef that goes in my bologna is CAB trimmings. Yeah. I'm talking about throwing New York strips and great cuts are going in my bologna, and there's no lips and no ooh. You know,
I think there's no nonsense in my bologna.
No nonsense.
That should be a bumper sticker or something.
Yeah. The bumper stickers have been fun.
I love we have one right here in the fridge. I love it. Have you started to deviate from the recipes that you kind of inherited from Eric? Like, have you put your own? Oh no,
no. If Eric wrote the recipe, I mean these products were being made for it's 24 minus 7.
Yeah,
there you go.
17
high
years.
teens,
yeah.
And I didn't mess with any of his recipes.
Yeah,
everything that he made is exactly as he made it.
Okay.
But after that, it's all me.
Okay. Yeah. Was there any, did you notice any, not pushback, but nervousness with the diehard locals when they heard that you were taking over the shop? Like,
oh, God. When I first started, the amount of business we were doing only dictated that I was working about 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I can't live like this. I need a 40-hour-a-week job. So he goes, okay, we're going to put you out in front of the in the front of the house, and you're going to serve people on Saturdays so that they can get to know you.
Okay.
And start to trust that you've been around for a while. So I had a 2-year introduction of meeting all the people.
Yeah.
The question was always, is he German? I'm like, no, he's not German. He's Irish. It's pretty much the same thing. We like to drink. We like to fight. It's like, we're the same people. We just kind of went a little further west during the Germanic movement of tribes,
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
How was that experience? Because, I mean, working in the chef industry, you're pretty much in the back with other chefs. Like, you really don't see the customers.
I'm a very back house guy.
How was that transition to
it was tough. It was tough. I'm not points of, I know all about points of service, and I can give great service, but it's not my thing. I mean, the reason the cooks work in the back is they're not fit to serve tables. There's more money to be made in the front of the house, but you also have to have a tolerance for people.
Yeah.
And most people are great, but the ones that are tough on you, boy, I've seen them ruin some servers' lives some nights. Just like, oh, do you really go out just to run people around? I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, as somebody who worked in the retail world for about 10 years, seeing the worst of people and having to put a smile on your face, it's not easy.
It's tough, especially for me. When I am out in front and I hear somebody's comment on this or that, sometimes I just want to jump across the counter and choke the life out of them. And that's not a great way to run a business.
No, not at all. There'd be a lot of Yelp comments shortly after.
It wouldn't take long after I murdered the first person in the store that people would stop coming. So Beth my wife Beth was running the store for the first 5 years,
nice.
Which was great because she's a fantastic front of the house person. She's many years of serving bar, she's an excellent bartender and just a great person. She had these tough old Germans eating out of the palm of their hand, where I was busy running up into their ear going, "Get the hell out of my store and don't come back." And you're like, what? I said, you heard me. Get out. Take your $3 and hit the road. So Beth was like, why don't you go make sausage and I'll take care of this.
Yeah, it's probably the best idea.
But over the years, I'm getting a little older and I've mellowed out. Now I can actually all through October, I've been on the counter on Saturdays.
Oh, wow.
Out front, 6 hours of slinging meat, and you know what? It's really cool because you do get a chance to meet your customer base.
Yeah.
I've got wonderful customers. 99% of my customers love coming to the store.
Yeah.
They're so excited to be there. They love the smell of the place. I'm there 9 years. I don't even notice that it smells like anything anymore. They're like, oh, it smells so great in here. I'm like, I don't even notice that unless I'm standing right in the smokehouse, But it's been really good. And like I said, the 99% of the people, they make it worth your while. Man.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a chef because I like to have my ego stroked. So, I give them the goods.
Yeah.
And I get the feedback. And it's very positive for me. And I try and do whatever I can for people,
Oh, yeah.
Guide them down this road or that road. You got a lot of people with health issues these days.
Oh, God, yeah.
And, there's a lot of questions and,
I mean, I think that's one of the things that really separates your place, aside from just straight up the quality of what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
But the fact
service,
that, the service, that I can go in there, and even if you're not behind the counter, I think you've done a pretty good job with the staff where, like, if I have questions or kind of like, I like this type of thing, they're really good about pointing me in a direction.
Well, I work on them really hard to get them the information that they need to help people, because I've always said, it's a cliche, but your best customer is one that is well informed.
Yeah.
And, you get a lot of people that are coming in with recipes and they're like, whoa, and I've got a lot of cooking experience. So if I have the minute, I'll take the time and help them out. I love awesome. Food. I love to hear people getting excited about food.
Yeah.
In the last 10 or 12 years, all this Food Network TV, it's driving a lot of great business my way, because we have a lot of these things that you can't go get at Tops or Wegmans.
No, not at all.
And
I love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so, we're a small little shop, but it's grown pretty well over the last bunch of years.
Yeah.
And like I said, the advent of food TV has really helped a lot.
Yeah. I think that's helped. And it's kind of crazy, because I think you guys are doing really well in a period where independent butcher shops are not really thriving that much. I mean, like Wegmans and Tops have pretty much replaced them all.
Yeah, it's a terrible scene.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're seeing little, we're in Buffalo, so we're a little behind the curve and everything.
Yeah,
but I think it is coming back a little bit in general,
like more artisanal, just focused shops.
People being more concerned about what they're eating.
Yeah.
I buy the best product I can get. I spend a ton of money on spices. I mean, I'm not using any Durkee products by any means. And, it shows in the food.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, just keep pushing the parameters. I'm trying to lead them down better pathways of eating.
Yeah.
And I recommend to them, I was like, listen, some of this stuff, I wouldn't eat this every day. You're going to, put a hurting on your cholesterol count there. But, there's also a lot of things to eat that are really good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We run a low percentage of fat, traditionally, sausage is like 60 to 40, 70, 30.
Wow.
Protein to fat content. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Eric always had it much leaner, more like an 80-20.
Okay.
And I've keep it the same way. Try and make it somewhat healthy, right?
As healthy as sausage can be.
But, and then as far as the quality of the food, a lot of our products now are made from locally raised organic pigs from T-Meadow.
That's what I was going to go into so I was always a fan of Spars, but my holy shit moment was when I had the T-Meadow hot dog.
Yeah, they're great. The T-Dogs rock.
Gedra pointed me to it. He was like, have you had the hot dogs yet? And I was like, no. And so I went the next day and got like a 6-pack, and me and my wife ate all 6 and like no problem at all. And it was just one of those like, holy shit.
Yeah. When a couple of years ago when I bought the bowl cutter, which makes all the smooth products, we never had one in the store. We were just doing grinding.
Yeah.
And but you can't make the smooth products without this machine. So I went out and got one, and at that point we were buying all the wieners, all the vice first, all the smooth products. We bought bologna, we bought all these things. And myself, I was unhappy with
the quality,
knowing what was going in them. Boxes of scraps and this and that.
Yeah.
I'm getting more concerned about what I put in my own body.
Yeah. And
so I'm trying to bring people along with me the whole way, because, I want to eat well, and we're not eating well in this country, Donnie.
No.
We, as Americans, have probably one of the worst diets on the planet. I mean, look at everybody around.
Yeah.
They're walking diabetes machines.
Yeah.
It's terrible, and it's the food they're eating.
Oh God, yeah.
It really is. Everybody's eating out of boxes, eating out of cans. Mm-hmm. They're going to buy pre-made meals at Wegmans. They're going to buy pre-made this and that.
Yeah,
you cannot nourish your body out of a box. You got to go out and buy vegetables.
Yeah.
Buy good meats and good proteins.
Yeah.
You'll benefit from it. You'll be healthier. You won't need to eat so much.
Exactly.
And your mind will follow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The better your body feels, the better frame of mind you're going to be in.
Yeah.
And I guess if I had like a credo to go by, that's what I'm trying to do at the store.
Yeah.
I want to make it the best it can be. You know, sausage gets a bad name because people are like, "Oh, yeah, it's lips and and I'm like, yes, that may be true in a broad sense. Like I wouldn't touch a ballpark frank to save my life. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I literally picked up a package of ballpark franks while I was standing in line at the local convenience store.
Yeah.
Because the counter was right there by the side. And I pick things up all the time to see what they're putting in there.
Yeah.
And if you can believe this, the first ingredient in a classic ballpark frank is now chicken. And that's no way to make a hot dog, man. That's just bunk. And I was just like, that's when I started saying, okay, we're going to take over this aspect of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're going to use great product.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's as healthy as it can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I encourage people, listen, while you're knocking down these sausages, have some vegetables. You know? Get a starch in you.
Yeah.
You know.
How was like the learning curve of teaching yourself those kind of things? I mean, like doing hot dogs and I mean, like,
it was funny. The guy I bought the machine from said, "Oh, you're going to ruin many a batch before you get it right."
Yeah.
I've never ruined a batch once. I don't think he understood that I actually have a cooking background.
Okay.
And I think he was trying to cloak the information in a little mystery.
I see.
And I was just like, "Come on, man, really? It's food."
Yeah.
You know, I'm more than willing to show anybody. If I have the time, you know, I have all my chef friends come in and they're like, "How are you doing this?" And I was like, "This is how it's done, man."
Yeah.
And these guys go back and they try and replicate it in their own restaurants. But when you're making these products in a restaurant, you know, trying to make an emulsion in a Robocoup it's tough. It's not the same thing. They get close, they get the flavor profiles and stuff, but texturally things are different. You need the big machinery to get it done.
I think my buddy James Roberts,
he
said he stopped in to make a hot dog for like an event
he had
up,
a really
up north.
good one going. Yeah, he had a little party going on.
Yeah.
And man, his dogs were over the top.
There was like truffles in it, right, or something?
He had a what did he do? He had some black garlic that he roasted, and then he put it in a veal jus. And we added veal jus to the proteins for the liquid. Usually it's an ice water mix. Yeah. And I was just like, whoa. James, you're really out there on this one. And he was like, dude, I'm trying to make it as umami as possible. And I'm like, all right, well, let's go for it. And
that's amazing.
So I brought him into the shop, and we made a batch. And like I said, you know, I have no secrets, man.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody asks, I'll tell you straight up how it's done because I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think my good friend Dino DeBell always told me, he said, Joe, a chef with secrets has something to hide.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's just food, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that way of thinking has definitely been increasing in Buffalo's food scene.
Definitely.
Like, just from my kind of viewing from the outside and seeing how all these chefs like hang out and interact, like it is all about let's make everybody know more and become better, and let's
educate them.
Yeah, let's collectively raise everybody up.
The bar.
Yeah.
We live in a great restaurant town. We really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been around. I've driven all over the country, and you know, my vacations these days, as I'm getting older, revolve more around food than getting hammered.
And amen.
Yeah, I feel a lot better too. Actually, get up for breakfast instead of go.
There you go.
Make me a bloody.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, me and my wife, like everywhere we go, the first thing is where are we eating, and we spend a week researching the places we're going to eat more than like anything else.
Absolutely, I've seen your FB page, and you're all over, man. It must be great.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's not so maybe I got to cut back here and there, but it's a pretty good time.
I'd like to get out and eat a little more. That's for sure. But running a business, at the end of the day, it's. Going out to eat is usually like once every few weeks for us.
Damn.
But we eat well when we go out.
We just talked about Tabri.
Yeah, Tabri. It's a fantastic experience last night with Bruce.
Yeah. So, but you mentioned T-Meadow, and we've had Rich actually down here. He did an episode. How did you get introduced to him and his delicious pigs?
Steve Gedger at Bistro Europa started getting the pigs, and I actually was introduced to Rich, and it took about 9 months for me to get online with him.
Oh, wow.
He's been growing his business.
Oh, yeah.
He was he has his farmers markets, and he had a couple of restaurants. Bistro and Carmelo's up in Lewiston. Yeah, another fantastic restaurant.
And now Tabri.
Yeah, and now Tabri.
Yeah.
So he was doing those guys, and so I had to wait until he could bring more pigs online.
Oh, okay.
And but it's been a few years now, and I get my pig every other week and turn it into all kinds of great stuff.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, like I said, those hot dogs are magical, but all the other products I've had are very.
I'll tell you
the
big thing that started. I think getting the T-Meadow was a tipping point for us. I had pretty much about that time I'd read The Omnivore's Dilemma.
Okay.
Which changed my life. That's when I really became concerned about what it was I was eating.
Yeah. Was
The Omnivore's Dilemma, and it changed the way I thought about food and the way I wanted to present my product. Mm-hmm. And so about the same time I started getting the pigs and really getting into it. I mean, we're making head cheese out of these pigs now. And the really amazing thing about the head cheese is more and more young people are eating it.
Yeah.
Because it's really good now. That we used to have a purchased product that was virtually tasteless and is about as chewy as a Super Bowl. It was not good.
No.
And so, we make a really nice product now, and it's delicate and it's got great flavor.
Yeah.
And, if it didn't have this awful name, head cheese, I don't know who thought of that, but man, they should have been taken out and beaten. But, if you were in France, it'd be a terrine.
Yeah.
And it would have no problem selling.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
It's just the people's conception of what is in head cheese is just ludicrous.
I think also there's a growing that whole foodie culture where like people want to eat the different stuff. They want to eat the weirder, the more obscure type of things.
Yeah.
And I think in the whole Instagram, like taking
very
pictures
adventurous
of it.
Nowadays.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, to see young people.
I noticed that first, like when Steve opened up, or when Steve took over the bistro. It was there before he came back to town. I was looking at his new menu going, you're going to get people to eat these things? And he was like, yeah, no problem. And I was shocked because I was, didn't think that people would go down those avenues. But people really are becoming way more adventurous with their eating.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. Your shop's in Black Rock, right on Amherst.
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't know it, we'll obviously link to the site. But how has it been seeing the transformation of Amherst over the last 9 years or so? I mean, it's kind of like up and coming, one of the more hip spots. I mean, you've seen Sportsman Tavern grow exponentially.
That's been fantastic.
Yeah, and then obviously Black Rock Kitchen and Bar is right down the street, and I know Casey's Taverns and Roal's have had some improvements over the year. It seems like
Delish across the street.
Delish,
now.
Delish. How has that been?
We got an Ethiopian restaurant on the corner.
That's
now,
right.
Which is great.
Lucy's.
Yeah, Lucy's.
So.
I was super psyched to see that happen.
Yeah.
I'd never eaten Ethiopian food until they got there, and I was like, man, I was first in line. And then I was eating there for 6 straight weeks. I was going across there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're fantastic people.
It's got to be great to see that kind of movement to the area, too.
It's been great. When I started apprenticing for Eric 9 years ago, I could lay down in the middle of Amherst Street and not worry about getting hit.
Yeah.
And over the last 9 years, I can't even get out of my own parking lot now because the traffic is getting heavier and heavier all the time.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. It's really good for the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's great to see that. And foot traffic, too. Like
people asked me when I bought the shop, you bought a shop in Black Rock? I'm like, what are you afraid of? It's not that bad of a neighborhood, man. You guys have some kind of conception about where it is.
I think people like know the two streets, like Hurdle and Elmwood, and then maybe Allen. But like other than that, like it's really pretty much that's what I think the first thought of a lot of people of downtown like area. Yeah. But like Amherst Street is, I mean, right on the list. I mean, Artisan Kitchen and Bath.
I didn't grow up in Buffalo. I grew up in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
And when we moved to Buffalo, I was still in high school. We moved to Amherst. And that was like, I might as well have been shipped out to the boonies, I felt like. So, I just, as soon as I got out of the house, jetted into the city. Yeah. And I love Buffalo. I think it's a great town.
Yeah.
And, like you said, people's conceptions of what are just usually misguided.
Yes.
It's a great neighborhood. And I've never had any trouble over there. Nice. It's been fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Joe, I think we can kind of wrap it up. We've pretty much went over everything. What do you see? What would you like to see with the shop grow over the next couple of years? I mean, do you have like things that you want to do, or?
We're going to keep working on expanding the deli. We're going to need a new case because I'm running out of room to put my products in. That's one of the things. I'm the case space. It's a small store. I'm a little limited to that, but at the same time, I'm never going to move it from there.
Yeah,
it's never going to.
You're never going to.
I'm not going to blow it up. I'm not going to bastardize everything. And make it for the masses. I'm going to make it for the people who care.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to expand the deli, and I would like to see over the course of the next year or two a full scale lunch deli.
Oh, nice.
Really get into it. Do a little cooking.
Nice.
Limited hours.
Scratch that itch a little bit.
Yeah. I love to cook.
Yeah.
I don't cook as much as I used to, obviously, because I'm in production all day long. Yeah. But I really, I miss it. I go hang out at my friends' restaurants, and if the dishwasher doesn't show up and I'm hanging around, I'm like, I'll jump in the pit just to be in there with the boys. To have that action again.
That's awesome.
There's a camaraderie in the kitchen that is. I've never been in the armed services, but we're brothers in arms, and we're going to battle every night, to make the best stuff that we can make. And I just want to keep driving it down that way. And
that's awesome. Be
nice to cook once in a while.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming down here. I am a huge fan of your shop. I can't recommend it enough to everyone who's listening. You guys are just doing great things there, and by all means, keep it up. And thank you again.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Great.